Hey, Favaz, it's the KSHE Pig Roast 2019, and with me, Shooting Star.
Hey!
How about that? You know what? I have to tell my story about Shooting Star. I didn't say this earlier when we were chatting outside. Okay. So I couldn't have been more than 15, and I was always wanted the Shooting Star vinyl. I think it was the first record. I think, maybe. And so I went to a record convention in South City, South St. Louis. I grew up in the county, and went down there, and I paid, I don't know how much. No, I traded an album that I had for that Shooting Star record, and I still have that Shooting Star record. And so it was back in 1980, 81 that I first heard Shooting Star, because I was listening to KSHE when I was 15 years old back then.
Okay, first of all, how many people watching this knows what a record is?
Our crowd is the older crowd.
Okay, no said.
So
Okay.
Most, I would say most do.
Okay, all right,
they
good.
may not know what a record convention was or whatever I went to that time, but
You can buy them on Amazon. Okay.
talk about the relationship. You guys are from Kansas City, the other side of the state. Here, KSHE is over here. KSHE is a huge supporter. I mean, you're playing the Pig Roast in 2019. How did it all come about back then?
Oh my gosh, it seems like KSHE was behind us from the beginning. And a funny story is on the first album, no, it was the second album, we did a show at Kiel Auditorium, and we came out, and I think our second or third song was Hollywood. And
Great song.
Yeah. Well, apparently you guys, that was the song you guys decided you wanted to play. You loved that one. And we had no idea at that time, so we're expecting, it's like the third song on our set. Well, Here's where we put our ballad in. And they started standing up, rushing the stage, so it was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
They know this song.
So, yeah, they knew that one. And that was, it was kind of a surprise because that wasn't a single or anything like that. So.
I thought your story that you told us out in front about Last Chance was great, and the fact that here it was a big hit and it wasn't even released yet.
No, it was released.
It was released, but
our first album came out and went well.
Yeah.
And Last Chance was probably the last song we would have picked to get much airplay because it was so long.
It's a 6-minute song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
I know that because I've played it a few times.
And being the last song on the album. So then all of a sudden, when we were actually in the studio recording Hang On For Your Life, our second album, and we were almost finished, we were getting word that our record company, Virgin Records, lost their distribution in the United States with Atlantic. So all of a sudden, we didn't have records in the stores. Well, at that same time, Last Chance became a late sleeper hit in cities like St. Louis, Chicago, which Chicago, it was huge, New York,
right.
LA was playing it, and there were no records in the stores. We had no records. We couldn't get any records in the stores. So it was a few months before we got new distribution, Hell of a drum solo in that song, too.
Right. God. Just great. So Van died a couple years ago, I guess it was.
Yeah.
I guess it was a couple years ago.
Yes.
A year ago last March.
So he was a founding member.
He was.
Of the band. Mm-hmm. What went through your mind? Did you think that you'd play again after he departed?
Well,
I believed we would play again because Van loved to play live.
Yeah.
I mean, he was there for a while, me, Steve, and Van was doing a trio and just playing because Van loved to play. So why stop the music?
True.
So I felt like, after he passed, and all, we went to the family and yes, play the music. Let's keep it going. So that's why we're here.
The thing that I also liked about Shooting Star, it has some violin in it. Correct?
Yes.
So one of my favorite bands of all time was Kansas. So are you the violin player?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't even know you, but I like you. But I know you. I know you're playing it now. But you don't have many bands that have a violinist in it, do you?
You know,
so what do you think
that's-
about that?
Well, that's been my life.
Yeah.
I've always been the violinist in all kinds of different bands and rock bands
Right.
and everything. But you mentioned Kansas. You know, Robbie Steinhardt, who was the original violinist in Kansas. That I lived right outside of Lawrence for a long time, and he and I used to get together and just jam together, and our bands would be on the same
really?
shows at the same time. And then Charles in Kansas City too. So we actually had quite a number of rock violinists back in the day. This is way before Shooting Star. This
Right.
is, you know,
Right.
So yeah, we've always been breaking new territory, but also there have been a lot of violinists to bounce ideas off of.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, just thank you for putting out such great music and being friends with KSHE. And we couldn't, I mean, this mix of bands that we have today, the newer, the older bands, you know, we've got Slash and, you know, Black Moods and Royal Bliss and Shooting Star. It's just a great mix. And,
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for
you
having
know,
us.
and we put your logo up here. I don't know if you've seen
We
that. or
love
not.
it.
This is Joey Goldsmith. There's the Shooting Star logo. All right. What year was that? Do you remember what year that design came out?
90s, I believe.
That was in the 90s?
Right.
And then it morphs into the KSHE Pig Roast.
There it is.
That's it. Guys in Shooting Star and lady, thank you very much.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
having us.
Thank you for having us.